Hey, everybody, and welcome to the first official episode of Spiritual and the City. I'm your host, Jay Victoria, the Energy Queen. And just to start out, I want you to know that this podcast has been going on for a while now, but I've rebranded it, yes, for the third time, because I love the concept of spiritual and the city, which of course is a play on Sex in the City, which who doesn't love? Um, and the reason why I'm kind of obsessed, and I hope that you will get obsessed with this idea too, is that it is about the new version of the modern woman. Because yes, we love Sex in the City, which was from the 90s and early 2000s, and such a good time. You might hear a kitty in the background, by the way, just go with it. But that's evolved. We're in 2024 now, and the way that women like take care of themselves, create success, find love, all the things that all the women in that show were doing, we're still doing, right? But we're doing it in a different way. And I found like there's been a lot of missing information in one place for us to talk about that. So that's what this podcast is going to be about. I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to be interviewing. The concept is I'm going to be interviewing women who are successful in New York in different areas, different careers, who do different things, to give us advice about the spiritual practices they have that help create that success. Because this is the thing, we all have them, we all do them, but where are we going to talk about that? So that's what this podcast is going to give you. It's going to give you a behind the scenes look of, maybe it's that Instagram influencer or comedian who has like 100K followers, and wow, how did she do that? Well, yeah, it was probably through all the things how to do, like hard work. But also, I'm willing to bet there's something else that she does that maybe she doesn't have a place to share that information. That's like a more spiritual practice that could help you understand how you can create that success faster for yourself too. Because the truth is, I think we all do these things, but yeah, we don't talk about them, and they also help you create success so much faster. And that's what I'm really excited about, because that's what I figured out how to do with my work with energy. um I still do all the hard work, like I still, I have a business, I have a job, I do comedy, but having like taking care of your energy, like it really speeds up your progress so fast. And so I want more women to hear about these kind of things that can really make a difference in your life, helping you get things you want faster. Okay. So for this first episode, it's just going to be me. Next week, I won't say who yet, but I'm pretty sure that we have, there's a kitty. Um, exactly the kind of person I just described. She's a comedian and she has a lot of followers on Instagram, and she lives here in New York City. And I think we're going to have her next week. So that's pretty exciting. Stay tuned for that. Make sure you subscribe or follow wherever you're listening. And let's get into it. So today, what I'm going to be sharing with you is exactly that, like the concept of the modern woman, how it's changed, and also how you can do specific things, not only if you live in New York City. I think the advice that you're going to hear on this podcast will be very good for New York City, because I'm in New York City and these things have helped me, but it can really apply to anywhere that you live. The city could be anywhere that you live. So, the modern woman, you guys, is somebody who I believe has uh, a knowledge, at least a basic knowledge of energy, and a basic knowledge of how to take care of your energy, because this is a really, really um, integral part of your health and your happiness. And the thing is, if you're taking care of your physical health, if you're taking care of whatever it is, your nails, your skin, your mental health, even, it's just not deep enough, to be honest, because your energy is the deepest part of you. So if you're getting your nails done and getting massages and meditating and doing the workout class and all the things that women do, but you're not taking care of your energy and you feel heavy inside. And heaviness, by the way, is a really big symptom of negative energy. It feels like it weighs you down. And you'll also know you have negative energy that needs to clear because you have anxiety or fearful thoughts. Negative energy is fear. So if you have like really negative beliefs about things and you find yourself saying negative beliefs about yourself or other people or complaining about the world, and you feel really negative and what's the word, pessimistic, then that means that yes, there are negative blocks in you that definitely need to clear. And the thing is, you can get massages and exercise and meditate and eat well and take all the vitamins all day long forever and ever, and you still may not address that actual problem. See what I mean? So that's why I do what I do. My work is called Energy Queen Alchemy, and I clear the negative energy, and it's like a facial for your soul. You really, really need this if you're feeling those kind of symptoms. And another symptom of negative energy is because your energy creates your reality. That's how it works, you guys. What is inside of you will show up in your life. Okay. Imagine the women of Sex and the City knowing this stuff and being able to change their lives faster. Um, they would have had maybe like 3 seasons of that show. No, I'm kidding. But like the frequencies, I love the word frequency and talking about frequency. And the frequencies that are inside of you are the frequencies that you're going to see reflected back to you. Okay. So, for example, if you have a block inside of you that feels, really negative, that specific frequency feels really negative, then what that's going to create in your life is something that feels exactly like that. So maybe, and the thing is, that can show up as different things. It could be somebody saying something mean to you, or somebody dumping you, or not having enough money, or whatever it is. Okay. So when you get your energy cleared, those things don't show up anymore. See how that works? So it's extremely practical and it's extremely helpful for your life, your progress, and creating the world that you want to live in. Because, like I said, you can do all these things all the time. And I think you still should exercise, of course, and take vitamins and all those things. But if you're not taking care of the deepest part of you, it's like you're going to have to still deal with stuff that you don't want to deal with. It's like you're not actually doing the smartest thing. And so taking care of your energy, I believe, is actually like the number one thing that you need to do and invest in and care about and invest your time learning about, because it's not airy fairy, you guys. It is becoming practical. And that's the new modern woman that I have become, that I'm seeing other women become. And it's like claiming and reclaiming all the ways that we've made fun of these things, like crystals and blah, 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 and actually like accepting them as actual, like real parts of your health, real parts of creating the life that you want. And the longer you like make fun of them and think that it's woo woo, I don't even use that word anymore. I don't think anything's necessarily woo woo. I mean, I have boundaries with like, like I don't know how to put this. I'm not like talking about aliens constantly or anything like that. And but like the crazy part is so much of this is so practical. So let's not lose out on all the practical stuff, because maybe some people out there are like a little maybe out of it. But I don't think that's, that doesn't mean that spirituality is itself impractical for you. Anyway, so I hope that sort of defines the modern woman. Like, she's somebody that, like, this is you being your most successful. To me, it's like you understand that in order to have the life you want, you do need to look at your energy. You do need to have those blocks cleared that are creating circumstances in your life that you don't want to see anymore. And the cool thing about getting clear energy too, you guys, is that you get reconnected to who you really are and the power that you are, because you are positive energy. That's why negative energy can be dissolved out of you, because it's not part of you. It's like cleaning. And when people want to hang on to stuff, I'm always like, You don't do that when you get a facial. You don't like hang on to the blackheads. Sorry, you don't. Sorry, not sorry. You just don't. So don't worry about it. Get your energy cleared, let it go. Like it's not part of you. And I feel like that's a really good tip I have for you is if you're feeling like trepidation about getting your energy cleared, listen, it is like dirt. It is not personal. And the biggest mistake you can make is thinking that it is part of your identity. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I've always been this way. No, negative stuff is not your identity, period. Okay. So you are positive energy only. And so you can get those things cleared out of you. They're not part of you. That would be like saying, I am this blackhead. You can't take it away, which sounds crazy. Okay. But that's how it sounds when I hear people say it. It's like, that's what the truth is. So why are you hanging on to this? Why are you, there's no point. Right. So that's, yeah, energetic health is gigantic. It creates a better reality. It connects you to your power, which is positive energy, so that you have more energy. You have more ability to, I have a goal. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be stopped anymore by all this shit inside of me that's telling me I can't, which is what negative energy does. I'm going to, attract better. Like when you have positive things inside of you, it creates positive things in your life. So like all around, it's so smart to get clear energy. And this method that I created, Energy Queen Alchemy, EQA for short, it's like, that's what it does, period. So I'm excited about that. And I'm going to share with you guys 5 things that have made my life in New York City better. I moved to New York 5 years ago, and I moved here with not even enough to ride the subway the first day. And the subway is like $2 and something. So I had a month of rent paid, and I moved here, literally had nothing. But I was fine, and I knew I was fine because I had the ability to do what I just told you, clear negative energy. So I knew I'm just going to keep clearing my energy because that will solve problems in my reality. It will make my reality more positive. And that's what happened. I'm here 5 years later. Like, how is that possible? Well, it is. And so these 5 things I'm going to tell you are the things that have helped me thrive in New York, get through. And they're very real, by the way. They're not like, look for a sign. Like, it's like, these are the things that can actually make your life better, not only in New York City. They will work in New York City, but they will work anywhere. All right. So let's go. So the first one out of the 5 is EQA. I had to put that first because that is, and this isn't just me like selling it to you. It's like, because I do sessions with people, you can contact me, but on social media or my email, which you'll find in the description. But it is honestly like the most important, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, because there is nothing else out there that gives you this result. Okay, and what this result is a change in your actual reality. So, for example, what I did when I got to New York and I didn't have any money was I had 1 month of rent paid, and what was I going to do? Okay, well, what's the problem? Okay, I need food. That's a problem. I need money. I need food. I need money to pay my rent the next month. So what I did was I looked at the problem in my reality, right? And you can do this. You can say, okay, where's the problem in my reality? Okay, I see it. And then what you do is you feel inside of yourself, okay, in your own energy, which is who you really are, where do I feel that problem? Like, where do I feel whatever I feel, like the worry, the fear? It's going to be in a specific place, right? It's going to be like in your head, your neck, your shoulders, your stomach. Like, you're going to feel where that negative energy is. Okay. And then what I would do is I would remember that the reason this problem is in my realities is because it's in my energy. And so I would stop worrying about my reality for a minute, and I would go to that place in my energy. I would use my method to dissolve that energy and Energy Queen Alchemy works through bringing a positive frequency in contact, like a laser, basically, in contact with that negative frequency. It dissolves it. That's the amazing thing about EQA, is like, how is that possible? Like, I figured it out. So, and it's a natural gift of mine to see energy visually. So that really helps too, to be able to see it. And honestly, it's a long story, but I'll go into that some other time. But or you can check out my YouTube channel. That's where I go into a lot of deeper things. But basically, I dissolved the negative energy, right? And when I dissolved negative energy, a few things would happen. Either the problem would just be resolved. For example, maybe I would just make money. Maybe I would find money. Like, I don't really remember. I think I'm trying to think of exactly what happened. I can't even remember at this point, but what I do remember is the other thing that can happen. So things can spontaneously just change in your reality because that negative thing isn't inside of you anymore. So your reality won't show the problem to you anymore. See how that works? I like to think of it like this, like your reality is like a movie that you're watching at the theater on a screen all day long, every day, your whole life. And your energy is like the film reel. So whatever's on the film reel is what shows up on the screen. If you want to change the movie, you have to change the film reel. All right. And that's not to say you can't do things in your life. Of course you can, to change things. But also, if you change the film reel, right, it's literally going to change what shows up. So yeah, I would do that with all the problems I had. I would, sometimes people would say one thing and then another because I dissolved the energy in me. And that negative energy can also be called a trigger. That's another word for it. So I would watch things change. Okay. Or another thing that can happen that's really cool is negative energy clouds your perspective and your ability to think of solutions. So when it comes out of you and it's cleared and dissolved, what happens is your perspective lifts. And Einstein has a really awesome quote where he says, the problems in your life can't be solved at the same level of thinking that they were created from. So that's exactly it. If you're in a problem, well, and you're worried about the problem, how are you going to solve the problem? That's a low frequency. So when your energy gets clearer, your frequency goes up and you're literally able to think at a higher level. That's where the solutions are. So that's what would happen. I would either watch something change or I would get a new idea. And I remember that very well. And me getting through the first few months in New York was a combination of those two things. I remember at one point doing a session, I was so worried about paying rent. And I realized maybe they would let me pay weekly. That would be like easier, just easier all around for me to not worry so much about it. Break it down into a smaller amount that I could try to get weekly. And they said yes. And so easily, like, that made it so much more easy for me. One day I was walking on the Upper East Side. I saw, so this is where your reality can change. I had dissolved those triggers. I'm walking around. I see a sign on a store that says help wanted. First place I walked in, I hadn't been even looking a lot of places. That was the first one. I walk in, I just say hello. She hires me on the spot. So there I go. I got a job. You know what I mean? I need to be paid in cash. She pays me in cash. She didn't even ask me if I wanted to be paid in cash. She just did it. So like, how is that possible? You know what I mean? To create that kind of result in your reality. Well, I mean, I don't want to, it's hard to say I created, but I created it on purpose with EQA. On top of that, I will say, let's go to number 2, prayer. Yeah, you got to pray if you want help. You want help with the bigger things that you need help with. Like, as strong as we are, you guys, like, whoever you connect to, you got to ask for help. And this is said in the Bible so many times, like, ask, 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 ask. And what I found with prayer is really cool is that it's like talking to a person. I think we forget that. We forget that, like, you know, if somebody's real as a human and they die, it's almost like we think they're less real. Like, oh, blah, blah, blah. But if you're a human and I'm talking to you, I think you're real. But then you die and it's like, I don't know, like energy. It's not like that. The energy world creates the physical world. It's the supernatural world. So it is more vivid and more real. Okay. More real. So you are definitely talking to people. You are talking to individuals. Even if you're praying to an angel, you are praying to an individual, just like you're talking to a person. So if you pray, I try to work on this. I'm not always that good at it, but when you pray, you have to be specific. You have to say, I need this at this time and for this reason. If you ask somebody in life for something, that's what you would do. So why wouldn't you do that with when you're praying? And I found it really, really works. I remember one time I had to pay my rent and I was so scared, and it was during the pandemic, and I prayed the rosary, and I think I just remember asking really hard. I was like, please, just I need money. And I swear this was like the craziest thing ever. Somebody, oh, it's so crazy. Like somebody who I was like, I'm a writer and journalist as well as all the other things. So I was editing a book for someone and he knew about my energy work and we had talked about it. After, I think after, directly after I prayed the rosary, I look at my phone, he sent me $1,000 out of nowhere. He just sent it to me through Zelle. I had a Zelle payment for $1,000, you guys. And he messaged me like, I need help, just help me. I gave you all this money, like, please just help me, like with the energy work. It was very obvious it was because I prayed. So ask. You're like not doing as well as you could in life, in my opinion, if you're not asking somebody up there to do things for you. And, you know, people talk about manifesting a lot. You know, the truth about manifesting, I think that I've found lately is like, I think the truth about manifesting is more like God is trying to give you good things all the time. Like he's directly trying to like give you things all the time. And the things that you want to manifest, I think, are even his ideas for you. You know what I mean? Like, it feels like that. It's like all the things that you think you want, he wants you to have those things. It's like he's trying to give you things all the time. It's like directing this light at you all the time. And it's more about like, how much are you willing to receive? So when you ask, it's definitely helping you to quote unquote manifest, even though I think manifestation is really just you being open to what God's trying to give you. And he's trying to give you stuff all the time. Okay. So yeah, so as you can see already, these are extremely practical situations. I'm paying my rent, job, food, like, and in New York City, right? And these are the things that have actually made a difference, continue to make a difference. So these are things you can try. Okay. If you have a block, a problem in your life, things keep cycling around that problem, there's a negative energy that needs to clear. You can do sessions with me, you can get it cleared. Just like if you had a skin problem, you'd probably go get that taken care of. Or if you had a health problem, you would get someone to take care of that. This is the same thing. And I'm really happy to have created something to give people that opportunity because I know like where else are you going to go, right? And sometimes I just want to say before I go on to number 3 is like I think women are, especially women, are really interested in spirituality, and sometimes you know you'll maybe drop $200 on a Reiki session or something, or you'll go to a psychic or something. But the truth is, I feel like a lot of people kind of don't have good experiences all the time. And then it kind of reinforces the idea like this is all just bullshit. And that's why I wanted to create something that was really practical because, yes, you can't see what I'm doing, but I come with the intention like, we're going to not only like pretend that something's happening, like, we're going to get the specific information about your, like, I draw, you know, where the energy is for my clients. I tell you what it's about. we get specific about what that energy is and, what it's creating in your life. And then I go in, I clear it. We actually have a method for measuring what I cleared. And, you know, yes, we don't know exactly what it will create, but we do know that it will create something positive, a positive change in your life. All right, there's the New York City background noise. All right, so anyway, that's just to say that, like, this is not Reiki, this is not all the things that you've tried, and it's not a waste of money. Okay. I just feel like that's important to say. And this is part of the new way of living. It's like having practical things that you can rely on. And even if you just listen to this podcast, that's going to help you understand things in a new way, which I think is going to pave the way for you to implement some change into your life. Just listening to this is going to help you. And then maybe, you'll decide to do something about it at some point. Anyway, and you can let me know. So, number 3, I love this so much, and I do this very often. Very, very often. So there are energetic laws that you can rely on. And one that I really love is the law of empowerment, meaning that if you want something, you guys, did you know that you are infinitely empowered? Like infinitely. Like you could wake up, not even tomorrow, you could just right now email 100 different people. If you want something bad enough, you could like email 100 people about it. 1,000, 1,000,000. Nothing can stop you. You can, like, what is it you really want? Think about how many things that you could do. It's infinite. So that's the energetic law of empowerment. You are infinitely empowered. And a lot of us don't even act like we are, but you are. And the cool thing about empowerment, when maybe you don't feel like emailing that many people, I get it, but maybe you could email 5, or you know what I mean? Like whatever it is that'll get you close to your goal, like there's probably something you could do. And what I found is that if you start acting like what you want is going to happen, there's something cool that happens in the energy world, in the supernatural world, to support you, which is you do the things that you can do and it does things that you can't do. So let's say that you want, I don't know, that you want a new boyfriend, let's say that, or girlfriend, or whatever you're looking for, whoever you're looking for, that you want that. And so instead of just like not doing anything, you could say, okay, well, like I can maybe like join a group to start meeting people. I could, whenever I see a cute person, I could say hi. I could, whatever it is. And so you're doing things to act like what you want is going to happen. What happens when you do things to empower yourself is that it's like a prayer, Madonna. It's like a prayer. It tells God, the bigger picture, hey, I believe that this is going to happen already. I believe it. So what will happen then is the bigger picture will start, doing all the supernatural things for you. Because you can't control like being in the right place at the right time. You can't control serendipity, right? But those things will start happening the more empowered you are. So that's a really good one. Especially for New York, where like anything can happen at any time. Okay. Number 4 is sort of related to this, which is that the things you want to create, if you, instead of having a to-do list, you have a belief list, you just ask yourself, hey, what do I believe I need to do to create this result? And you do those things, that will help create more of the things you want in your life faster than a to-do list. Okay? Because energy is beliefs. That's what energy is. So when I talked about like the stuff that's inside of you creating the things that you see in your life, well, the stuff that's inside of you gets there through your beliefs, If you believe something negative, that's a negative belief, and now that can come into you, and now that negative energy is in you, and now you're going to see something negative in your life. Okay, and if it gets dissolved, you're not going to see that negative thing in your life anymore. Your life gets better. The other way to get rid of negative beliefs inside of you is to stop believing them. And that's why you go to therapy. That's why you, whatever you do, read self-help books, and you're trying to change your beliefs. Because when you change your beliefs, the negative energy rises out of you and the problems in your life disappear. The thing is, it can be hard to change your beliefs, and it can take years. And yes, you can make progress, but it can be very slow. Watch Sex and the City and watch how this is what they're doing. They're trying to change their beliefs, because when you change your beliefs, your reality will change. So the faster way is to get your energy cleared and work with your beliefs, because the opposite is true as well. If you have a positive belief, that is, or if you choose a positive belief, that's a positive energy that comes into you. Positive inside creates positive outside. So the thing that you want to see, let's go with the boyfriend example again, boyfriend or, partner. How would you feel if you already had that result? See if you can feel, or think of something that you want. Notice where you feel it. And maybe you believe it's possible, and maybe you don't, maybe a little bit. But you know what? If you fully 100% believed it, that would be a positive energy, the belief itself, that would come inside of you. Because energy responds to your beliefs. So it would come inside of you. It would now be inside of you on the film reel. So where is it going to show up? On the movie screen in your life. So that's the power of beliefs. If you could fully believe something that you're going to get it, you'll get it. And that's why we say all the time, like, I manifested, or, whatever. That's what's actually happening. So there's so much comedy in that too, right? The way women talk about stuff like, I manifested everything. I think it's really funny. Okay, so what I'm saying is, instead of having a to-do list, if you have a belief list and you just write your goal and then you write what I believe I need to do to get this, what happens when you do those things is that you not only do things to make it happen, you also will have the belief. Hey, I fully believe I'm going to get this now. And what will happen? The energy will come in on the film reel. You'll see it show up. And I've used this method so many times. I have a full YouTube video on just this from yesterday, if you want to go look at that. That it goes in depth explaining how to create a belief list, because that is so, so big. I have gotten into the SNL after party, finale after party 3 different times. Yep. In the past 5 years through doing this. I have had clients win contests. I had 2 different clients win 2 different contests doing this. Like, you can create specific things that you want by doing this. So that's pretty big if you ask me. The 5th thing I want to tell you is that, kind of similar to prayer, but a little bit different, is the energetic law of ask and you shall receive. Because everywhere in the world, but I think especially in New York, like, there's so many different layers and levels of frequency here. Like, the city becomes different as your energy gets clearer, as you see things differently. Like, there's actually different levels here. And you can be walking around the same neighborhood and see different things because you're at a different frequency. And so I find a really good thing to do is to get out there and, take a different route to where you usually go. Like, start exploring and start asking questions, and not just ask and you shall receive like prayer. Ask people around you. Like, it's never going to hurt. It's never going to take you backwards. This is kind of related to the law of empowerment. Like, I remember one time I needed a safety pin because my pants were like falling, or I was wearing a skirt and it was like falling down. and I didn't have one, and I was going to my job. I think it was my first day. Um, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna ask. Ask and you shall receive. And I didn't know who I was gonna ask, but I almost at my work, I saw a laundromat and I was like, oh, they probably have one. I go in, I ask, they have one. So there you go, problem solved. And I was like, that is just such a practical thing. Just like ask people, like it's never gonna take you backwards. You know, they could say no, but then you could ask someone else, and then you could ask someone else. So if you want something, like start asking people. And not only people you know, like go into places and ask people. And you're gonna start getting new results with what you're trying to create, for sure. And I think I'm gonna end here because I'm getting a little tired of talking. My throat is like, ah. But this is just the beginning. I want to tell you, like, just the beginning of so much information, so much information I think you're not going to hear anywhere else. And it's going to be all condensed like this in one place where you can come and you can hear it. And even if it didn't land the first time, just hearing it and starting to like stretch yourself in this new direction, this new way of thinking about energy, about the way life works, is going to really start to help you to do better at life. This is like you guys learning the rules of the game of life. That's what it's like. It's like getting a guidebook for how your reality is created, and all the stuff that normally feels out of your control, out of your hands, and random becomes less so that you get more control, more power. And guess what? You're here to live a really happy life. And so I want to help you do that to the best of my ability and help you get there fast as possible, because you really deserve to be a shining light in this world and we need your light. So when you struggle, you're not shining your light and we need your light. So the faster you can get out of the struggle and into the thriving, I like using the words thriving season. Even if you start telling yourself right now, I'm in my thriving season, then you will start to get there faster. And I hope that the info here helped you understand that energy is practical, learning about energy is important, and making some changes to your life can make a really big difference in the results that you're getting, along with all the other stuff that you're doing all the time. So I hope that you enjoyed these tips. These are my 5 top tips for having a positive life in New York City or wherever you happen to be across the world. And remember, it's totally cool to be spiritual, and you can be a modern woman and totally into energy at the same time. So thank you for listening. Wishing you so much love, and stay tuned for episode 2, which will happen next week with a special guest. And if you have any questions for me, definitely feel free to reach out. And please rate 5 stars only. No, however you want, but please rate and let your friends know, because I feel like this is info that could help a lot of people. So lots of love. Bye from New York City.